Hello and welcome to Dysfunctional Dialogue. I am here with two wonderful people. My daughter, Melissa, who you have met before, if you've been paying attention, and her cousin, my niece, Olivia Carriero. Hey, guys, welcome to the program.
Woo! Thank you. Happy
Look,
to
so
be
you
here.
guys... Well, yeah, you're back. Look, you guys are the best, but now you got to prove it to everybody else here that that is indeed the case.
I just
Right?
started
So
sweating.
no pressure. No pressure on that. No, seriously. So look, let's have a little fun. So I know you watched at least one of these, Olivia.
I've watched several.
You watched several?
Mhm.
You definitely saw the one with your Aunt Debbie.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
'cause
favorite.
favorite.
Yeah, you commented on that. That was so much fun. And just pulling back that curtain on some of those stories, that was such a joy, man.
I loved that. I
Yeah.
loved hearing this. I mean, I know it's not my mom's favorite story, but the story about the goldfish,
the goldfish.
I'm like, you can't make that up. I mean,
I
it
know, that's
fried
crazy.
on the radiator.
The fact that
Are
it
you
jumped up,
kidding me?
they loved it so much because it was an acrobatic fish, right? And what happened?
That's how it died.
That's how it died. It died in action. And but not only did it jump out of the bowl, it landed right on the hot radiator.
Oh,
it
it's
died doing what it
terrible.
loved.
It died doing what it loved. Yes.
I loved that story, and I really loved the story of you giving Aunt Debbie
Grass
the
and the
chocolate bar
chocolate.
and the grass.
Yeah, you commented
Because-
on that.
No, because honestly, here's why, and I think I talked to Melissa about this, because it's like, some partners after that, like after being like, oh, why don't you get me flowers, like blah blah blah, like they'll do like some big grand gesture
Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
you're not gonna keep up with, right? Like you're not
Right.
gonna like constantly be giving like a big box of chocolates and these beautiful, like be like, that's love bombing, right? Like that's
Yeah,
not
that's love
sustainable.
bombing.
And so to me, that is the epitome of like, I will think of
Love.
you. I'll give
So-
you this. This is what you will get from me. Like this is reliable.
So
This is real. Like it's true. It's real
It's
to you. It's
true.
not like
Yeah,
you're
I-
trying to like
It's on
be someone
brand.
else.
It's
yeah,
on brand,
exactly.
yes. So it wasn't a love bomb. It was a love like firecracker or something. if you will.
Exactly.
It was like a snap.
Exactly.
Those snaps that you throw down.
Yeah, a love sparkler.
I love
Sparkler.
Sparkler.
Well, those things are dangerous. No. So what the thing is about it? You talk about it. That's a very low bar to cover going forward, because then you could just build
Yeah.
up going forward. But see, my thing is that kind of thing. It is the low bar. It is the funny,
Yeah.
the funny that comes with that, right? So
Yeah.
it actually was a pretty high bar for the funny.
Mhm.
So it's been a challenge over
True.
those years, and I've for the life of me, I can't remember any other examples right now. But after, of course, when I get off this call, I'll remember.
Yeah.
There were many
Right.
of those kind of things that I had done over the years because it's fun.
She loves that.
Yeah, and
stuff.
that's you. And that's you.
Right.
And when you find
And
someone,
it's her
like,
too.
you
She's-
want to
she's
want to
real.
be like real. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not pretend to be
Yeah.
someone else, like, oh, I'm this big
Love
romantic
bombing.
today.
You guys-
and then
Your generation's got terms for everything.
Love
yeah.
bombing. I am so grateful that term entered into like the zeitgeist, because I was like, oh my God, that's like an actual manipulation tactic that some people used.
yeah.
Well, I guess it could be, but it could just be people that so some people just don't know how to express their love,
That's
right? So
yeah.
they do it that way. So it
there's a
could be a bit of an
difference.
unfair characterization.
No,
there's a
like,
difference.
some people do show love through grand gestures, but love bombing specifically is like, I'm going to like text you, call you every day, do X, Y, and Z for you. I'm going to come to your work and bring you flowers and I'm going to give you all this is love and attention and affection for a month or 3 months, and then get you hooked essentially, and then I'm going to take it away and
Yeah.
then just really put in no more effort, and you'll
Yeah.
just be left wondering.
And now you
Right.
don't have
What
any
went
idea
wrong.
what you did wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
And to be clear, I'm not without grand gestures either. So
Of course, yeah.
a great example of that, and I don't know, grand gesture. It's not like I spent a ton of money on it. I don't know if that is the definition of grand gesture. But when I asked Debbie to marry me, I don't know if you ever heard that story.
Mm-mm.
We let's go for a hike, right? But she was so it was funny because she was feeling terrible that day, She's like, I don't know if I could do it. And her mom was like, go do it. I'm not sure if she suspected something or whatever, but good old Enza. She kicked her out the door, and we went on a hike. And I had it in my head we were going to go to this mountaintop that we had been to once before. And I found out later on that mountain is called Diamond Mountain.
Aww,
we didn't get there. We didn't get there. We were walking around and like, damn, I can't find this damn path. So we were walking, and meanwhile she's feeling like crap, and I'm like torturing her. So the joke was afterwards was like, if she could survive this, then she's worthy to be my wife. So we kind of gave up on that, and then we ended up hopping in the car. We found this beautiful little spot on Lake Long Pond up in Harriman. And
Harriman, that's what it was.
Yeah. And what I did was I made a mixtape, the mixtape where you have right?
Hell yeah.
And it was all these different songs that were meaningful and stuff, right? Which is always a nice thing to do. Hey, kitty cat.
Boogie.
Boogie. Oh, that's right, Boogie. What a great name for a cat. And I carried a backpack the whole time, and I pulled out some champagne flutes and some strawberries, and I had these two speakers that I had on my backpack. And I played it, and I got down on the one knee, as you really should do, and proposed to her. It's so funny. She was just like she was completely sandbagged by it. She, your aunt. She's like, get up. What are you doing? And I'm thinking to myself, don't tell me to get up. It's like you don't want to marry me. I'm pretty sure you do. What are you doing to me?
I'm pretty sure.
I was pretty sure. You can't be 100%. She did turn me down in 7th grade when I asked her out.
True.
Oh man! Oh, I love that so much.
That's so good.
Yeah, then I married the hell out of her, and as revenge.
I was gonna even revenge married her.
Yeah, I revenge married.
Is that a spite?
I worked on that for years. In fact, she ended up hunting me down later on. I was like, nah, let's just be friends.
You played the long game.
Woman. I played the long game. That's right. And that was in 7th grade. We didn't get married until our late 20s. This boy knows how to play the cold revenge. But I think I'll share that 7th grade story for the next time I have a call with your mom, so she could we could see the mortified look in her eyes as she describes how that took place. But yeah, then I held the 2 speakers up because it was one movie.
Say anything.
Thank you. Say anything. Very good. Wow, look at you.
John Cusack
Holding up the speakers, right? Yeah. So, and I did that, and it was cute. So anyway, that was really nice. So married the hell out of it.
Hell yeah.
So the reason why Olivia's on here, and believe me, Olivia, I have had it in my head to have you on here because it's you, right? And I also like to get your siblings on here too. You guys are all great. And I want to get your mom and and your dad on. I want to get your mom and your dad on
together
because and they're going to be here in a few weeks, so maybe I could get them on at that time. We'll see.
That'd be awesome.
With the promise, of course.
Obviously, I'm the first in the family to show up, and
you were the last of the family and the first to be on the show.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, but the impetus that why she's on this call right now, particularly with Melissa, is because Olivia apparently pinged Melissa off to the side, and after that last call that Melissa and I had together, and said, hold on, Melissa, there's been more than 2 times in which you've had a run-in with the law.
It is true, because it is true that, Melissa ended that episode saying, I never had a run-in with the cops after that. And I was like,
hang on.
Except, so we were in one of Melissa's friends or acquaintances at the time in their dorm. It was like daytime. We were sober.
Yeah.
We were just chilling. And I think just trying to scrap up plans for the night or something. And all of a sudden, this dude gets raided by the cops.
The police.
And we're just sitting there.
Wait, so you were in the dorms?
So Olivia was in the dorm room. I had gone to the bathroom, and I walked out of the bathroom, turned the corner in time to see him getting read his Miranda rights, and I just turned back around.
And hold on, and he was in a different dorm room at that time.
No, he was we were hanging out with him.
Really?
We were hanging out with
so,
him.
And oh, you hear this? So Melissa, the fugitive, as we learned previously, right? So here she is, a fugitive of the law, right? And then so she somehow found her way out of the room right when the cops were showing up. A little suspicious there, Melissa.
I only know flight. I don't know
I think
fight.
her and that cop that let her go had a little side deal. Yeah, and then yeah, so Melissa wasn't there.
I'm not editing out that snort, Melissa.
No,
please
keep the snort in always.
I was just sitting there. I think there were a couple other people there, and so the cop was like, one of them was reading the guy his rights, and another one was just kind of talking to us like, "What are you guys doing here?" And I'm just like, I don't belong here. Like, I'm so unattached to this circle here. I'm not affiliated with whatever operations may or may not be going on here.
Likely story.
And so he was kind of getting to the point where he was like letting us go and stuff. And I don't remember when Melissa and I reunited, but I do remember when I was leaving, I had, shameful to admit, like one of the, like a nicotine vape. Oh, and it was like sitting on top of the dude's dresser. It wasn't that obnoxious. They weren't that obnoxious. It was like a little pen.
Nicotine?
It truly was nicotine.
Yeah.
And I can assure you this because I go to grab it and the cop's like, "Wait a minute, let me smell that." And he like sniffs it and I'm like, "Mother, like come on." He like smells it and he's like, "Okay." And then I take it and I go.
Did he sniff it or inhale it?
He sniffed it. He just gave it a good whiff.
He just needed a
that
good
would
buzz.
Be he would gain some respect if he took a hit off.
He should have just took a hit of it. It's so
gotta
funny to be like,
sure
"Oh yeah,
here.
here you could have back your much more addicting substance while I go look for the less addicting substance."
Right?
Literally. Yeah.
I ended up finding
Melissa
out.
Just, finds herself in a
so what happened with that guy?
Well, so what happened was, and this was, I'm so glad that you called me earlier today, Liv, because I was like, wait, what actually happened? What the hell happened to that guy? Basically, I ended up finding out that another friend of mine, or acquaintance at the time, got caught a couple hours prior smoking weed too close to the dorm. So that was the thing, because it was Massachusetts, and Massachusetts has very lenient rules when it comes to weed specifically.
So like he was like within 10 feet as opposed to 12 feet.
Exactly.
If he was 12 feet, it would have been okay.
Literally, which is almost, like,
right.
It's bonkers. But then we wouldn't have this amazing story. So, But basically what happened was the guy got caught smoking and the police were like, "Where did you get this weed?" And he cracked immediately. And he was like, "Oh, I got it from XYZ person." That guy wasn't actually dealing weed. He just lent him some weed.
Oh, no.
Because he was a nice guy. No, he wasn't, because he never
wrong.
actually got arrested because there was no weed in his dorm room.
Good.
Yeah. And I remember years later, I ended up being the guy who got arrested. He got read his rights. I ended up being his formal date. We were just friends, but like I went to his formal for whatever fraternity he was in.
So you're a fugitive and you're dating criminals.
I wasn't dating him. He was just a friend.
To frame this out.
He was just a friend, and we were hanging out at the formal.
He wasn't a drug dealer.
And he wasn't a drug dealer. And he turns around and he goes, "Hey, remember that time I got arrested and you and your cousin were there?" And then that was it. And then we never spoke about it ever again.
That's amazing.
2 years later. Yeah.
I love that.
Because I was furious that the guy knocked.
I have to say, so that was a lovely story. Again, I'm particularly interested in Melissa not having been in the room very conveniently at that time. Suspicious
flight.
For sure. So, Olivia, have you had any brushes with the law that you're willing to talk about?
I think I tried to think of one.
So that's the extent of the memory loss right there.
I tried to think of
I
one.
may have actually tried to think of one. That's perfect.
No,
reason...
because I do think I thought of something and it might come back to me. I should have written it down, but I forgot to.
Okay, you forgot to. Perfect. So maybe you should just walk around with a pen and pencil all the time, or just literally pull up the app on your phone to, put a little note in.
I gotta do
Which, by
that.
the way, I did, and I have some questions for you.
Oh, let's
God.
go! I'm excited.
All right, well, hold on. So, all right, so before I say that was a pretty tame brush with a law story.
It was
funny
Oh,
and all,
yeah.
pretty tame.
Yeah.
I mean, I got stuff I can't share on here. I really can't.
Yeah.
It's just not right. And I didn't get arrested or anything like that, but it's just some of the story is very entertaining, and maybe I will share. I don't even know, but not now with you guys. I'm hopefully I'll get one of those guys on with me, and we'll talk about that. I got several of them.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately, yeah, but not for now. So, Olivia, your aunt just reminded me of this when you were here in September. So, Olivia lives out in Colorado. We're in North Carolina, and you came to visit. It was a lovely visit. And when you were here, you were unable to go into the swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember why you weren't able to go to swim? Right, because you have this really cool new tattoo. Now, but why did you get the tattoo in that particular location right before that trip?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This may have been a cover-up.
It may have been a cover-up. She doesn't exactly remember for sure.
Chance.
So whatever you could, and we'll just assume that you're making this up right now because you have no memory. Tell me what it may have been covering up.
It was a burnt-out match. Okay, it was
it was a burnt-out match, which seems nice. So what's wrong with a burnt-out match? So what's wrong with a burnt-out match?
Perceived as, which I get perceived a lot. I work in unfortunately, I work in customer service jobs, retail service stuff, and so people often would ask me, "Oh, is that a tampon?"
Wow.
Like what? Like, why would it be?
Why?
Like, why would it be? But it really did look like one.
It did.
So I think maybe out of the hundreds of people that have seen that tattoo, maybe 3 of them didn't think it was a tampon.
Olivia, by any chance, do you have a picture of how that looked before?
I do.
Could you send that to me so I can share with everyone? And maybe we'll take a poll as to how many people really think that this looks like a tampon.
Let's see what the people have to say.
Let's see.
I certainly can. I can do that.
I would appreciate that.
But now we'll take a moment to appreciate.
That's really nice.
Olive branch.
Olive branch. So when you're reaching out to say hello and shaking your hand, you're extending the olive branch.
I love that.
I
thought
that.
That's what you were doing.
No, Olive. She's Olivia.
That's me.
Oh, okay. It's the Olivia branch.
Olive branch.
Yeah.
Olive.
It's somewhat of a nickname that I've just kind of evolved into, and now.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I mean, look, that's a very cool way. I mean, olive branch, that's the epitome of peace between people, constantly extending olive branches.
That's better than the nickname that Olivia had for me for a while, which was Mussolini.
Mussolini, because you were called Moose.
Antonym of that.
Yeah, Mussolini probably shouldn't be one that you probably shouldn't get a tattoo of Mussolini on you.
No.
That might be a
And
mistake.
it was really sweet because I got this tattoo right before going to Sicily, where I met some of our family, and one of our cousin, uncle family members.
Some person.
Like whatever.
Some guy.
Third cousin who I call uncle. You know how it is.
Right.
He really liked it, and he would at one point kind of grab my arm and was like, you'll point out the olive branch, you'll just see that. And
nice.
It was.
So you guys, look, you're very close cousins.
Yeah.
Really all through. Even when were. I mean now, you guys. No, but even when you were separated by distance, you remain, super,
Mhm.
super close. All of you, frankly, it's really a very special thing. But yeah, you guys did some things you put on camera. I'll share
Yeah.
some of those things. I mean, it's not like crazy, super crazy, but it's really kind of heartwarming.
No, it's
things
pretty
that kids do. Oh, pretty crazy. I like pretty
I
crazy.
mean, I would use the word dysfunctional.
All right,
Actually,
well, welcome to the show.
My favorite, I think, was we put on. So the origin of it was we would go swimming at Nana's house.
yeah.
And then after we got tired, go inside. They're on the TV. And I think one day the cable box was locked on Italian soap operas. And we were
that's
like,
great.
what is going on? But like we're just watching it, like trying to piece together what's happening in this language we don't understand. And then the idea was born, we should do this. Make a foreign language soap opera. And did we know any foreign languages? No.
That sounds like something
None of us.
something your moms and your aunts would have done back in the day.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like
100%.
spot on exactly what they would have done, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I think others of all generations
totally.
could relate to that kind of thing.
I mean, Aunt Steph could be credited with co-producing some of our videos.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah. I mean,
she was all about it.
I'm like thinking I've got more. I've got more in my
I know.
head.
Same. I think we had the same thought.
We had the exact same thought just then.
That one was weird.
That one was weird. We'll get to that one.
So, to the foreign language soap opera, we didn't know any foreign language, so we just
made up your own, of course.
Gibberish.
Yeah.
Soap opera. Not only did we do that, so we named this soap opera, filmed the first episode, and we were like, introducing Hapa Tapa Ha, which is the name of the show.
This is the name of the show.
And we filmed our first episode. Maybe a few days go by that we don't see each other. We just don't, think to do another one. By the time we get around to shoot the next episode, none of us remembered the name of the show. And so Melissa was
behind the camera.
Melissa was the narrator, the filmer, and she would say, "Last week on this program," because we had no idea what it was. Because we always did the flashback, of course, like any soap opera includes that.
The flashbacks would be like
we were so ahead of our time, honestly.
So ahead. We could have got famous. If TikTok was like
the flashbacks would
in,
be in like completely different houses, just like whatever.
That could be a great mashup.
What was like super important to all of this is that we also didn't know the plot,
right?
So every single episode, it was like we had like a vague, we had a vague like thread between every episode, and that was. There was always like one word that was repeated throughout every episode. And in the beginning, it was a bad thing. It seemed like a bad thing. I mean, we didn't
something devastating happened. Yeah. Something.
But we don't know. And then by the end, they were all like one happy family.
Yes, it was me and Jacob.
Well, how old were you at this time, roughly?
This was like 2009, 2010.
I thought you said I was 22.
We would do something like that.
So yeah, I was like 10.
Yeah, I think I was 11. That sounds right. So we were young.
And so Jacob was my husband in the show. And
your brother was your husband.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what goes on over there in the Carriero household, but I'm getting more than a little concerned.
It was for the plot.
And then, of course, right? Yes, right. We're still talking about
Alex and John were our children,
and I was behind the camera.
Yeah,
and I was the only one that spoke English.
Well, it makes sense. You need to translate.
No, but I wasn't translating anything because no one knew what was going on.
It was this. Her lines
30 seconds
last week. Her lines would just be last week on this program, and then at the end, to be continued.
Oh yeah, to be continued. And we made 2 seasons. 2 seasons. Each season had what, like
start
10 episodes,
ending the plot. Like it was fully, like we were ahead of our time.
Yeah.
So like to do the flashbacks, to have like an ongoing plot, like I don't know. I think that's pretty crazy. Yeah,
that's fun. We've all when we were kids, we always role played different things.
Yeah,
and that was always just such a blast. You know, something else that you guys would role play and then develop into something more, and that was
I'm scared.
Recipes.
Me too.
You know, you would do like a program where you would be developing these recipes, and I could tell you it would always be at our house. And your Aunt Debbie loved it because we would come home and the place was just destroyed.
Loved it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Loved it with quotes for sure. Although she did though. I mean, because she just loves that stuff, right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait,
I appreciate that. That would not fly.
Yeah,
Sabrina, never.
No.
She would be.
We tried it.
Be like, no.
We tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a pushovers? Is that what I'm hearing?
You were my second home. Yeah, I don't know. I think you just had a sweet spot for me. That's what I like to think.
That's what it is. You keep thinking that.
I will.
I remember. I just thought about this. Liv, let me know if you remember this at all. I remember one time we made a whole bunch of different cooking shows, but one time we were like, oh no, like let's actually make cookies. Like for real, make cookies. Do you remember this?
Cookies or brownies?
Blondies.
It was originally supposed to be blondies.
It was blondies.
That was what it was supposed to be. And we were young. This was probably around like Habba Tabbaha time. So I was like 11 or 12.
I love that you're referring to an era in your life as the Habba Tabbaha.
You don't understand. That was an era.
It truly was.
But so we were legitimately, this was us legitimately trying to bake. And John was little. He was like probably like 8, 7.
7, yeah.
Like young.
Right, that's Melissa's youngest brother.
He was on the show.
My son. He was very early on. Yes, indeed. I got to get him back on it too because that was awesome.
I wish he was here for this conversation now.
Well, he'll be watching this.
He sorry in advance, John. So we're all putting the ingredients in. And at one point, we were taste testing. And we're all like, yeah. And all of us are kind of thinking the same thing, but not saying it out loud. And finally, I think it was Olivia. You were like, something tastes wrong with this. And we were like, well, what could it possibly? We did everything correct. And we went step by step through the instructions. And it turned out that John, sorry, you go.
No. Yeah, you can keep going.
John, instead of putting it was a teaspoon and a half is what the recipe called for of baking soda.
Which is always what baking soda should be.
Always. In teaspoons. And he put in a cup and a half of baking soda. And instead of just... so all of our mouths were burning, making this batter. Like taste testing this, but instead of just throwing it out and calling it a night, we looked up online, like on Reddit or something, like how do we multiply our ingredients by 64?
We were trying to like even out the proportions of like flour, sugar, everything else to match.
We were still eating blondies now.
It was like, how much flour for 1.5 cups of baking soda? Like,
wow.
And we ended up baking it. I don't know if you remember, Uncle John.
I
do. I remember.
That was molten lava.
It was
bubbling and gurgling in the oven. Because we wanted so bad to salvage these blondies. And
we were so excited. We were going because we had chocolate in it too, and we were going deep in the back of like the cabinets, getting like old Easter chocolate from like 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. We were like chopping up Easter bunnies to get.
Yeah, that was one of the times that you left the kitchen destroyed. Yeah. was.
Yeah,
For sure.
that was
I remember that.
bad.
I actually just had a conversation with John beforehand and said, "Come up with some Olivia stories for me." You know, and Olivia, being so pure and sweet as she is, he wasn't able to come up with anything. Oh, I can't believe you just did that. I'm going to share with you in a second what your Aunt Debbie said, Olivia.
Oh.
The fact that Olivia just did this. So, but I had mentioned about how you guys would do your cooking show, and he had brought up the baking soda. He thought they were brownies, but whatever. It's all the same thing. Yeah,
they were blondies.
Because I remember
we added chocolate. You said, so maybe I confused
chocolate
them.
chip blondies.
Oh yeah, but like for some reason I had it in my head that they were supposed to be cookies, but if we wanted to multiply the ingredients by like 64, we ended up just like making them brown. Like we were like, okay, well we'll just dump the whole.
Well, I think also it became like really like battery instead of doughy, and so we just like poured it into a pan.
BADDERY.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it was assault.
That's right. The assault and blondies.
Yep.
John couldn't come up with any stories. He didn't have anything in mind.
I let him off the hook. We just kind of talked for just a minute. He was busy with some other stuff, putting his business together. Your Aunt Debbie had reminded me, whenever you guys would take pictures, you would do something like this, looking into the picture.
Pure. I'm just
no. You would do this as a little kid. You would do that, and it was adorable. So we left
that
something.
Just reminded me.
Okay.
It just reminded me of a video Melissa had taken when she was mad at her brother Alex, and she went around and like it's a video, and she just goes to every picture of Alex around the house and just goes, ugly, idiot.
Whoa,
I don't have any recollection
of
that. And they're like the cutest pictures ever.
Oh, that's perfect. Of course.
He's adorable.
Adorable for sure.
Ugly. I'm sorry, Alex.
That's right. Hey, look, that's what siblings are all about, right? I mean,
it's true.
I'm not sure if you saw the one where I was talking to your Aunt Erin there, Melissa, and how we had our sibling rivalry and how we try to keep getting each other in trouble. But I mean, we have some just awesome stories because of that. That's just what it is. Olivia, I'm sure you have some stories with your siblings, Olivia, that would open some doors. Exactly, right? Because that's what.
One.
Do you bring it on? If we need to edit it out, we'll edit it out. What do you got there, Melissa?
I quote this story very often. Nice. Oh my god! I just got a whole bunch of other stories too.
Well, quick, rattle them off. I'll write them down. I'll remind you. Good. What do you got?
Yeah. So, rattle them off. Okay. So the one that I just thought of, was about Olivia and Alex taping me to the bed.
Okay. What else you got?
The other one that I was thinking of, I'll just share now. I'll share now because I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin the punchline. So I was not here for this, but it was so quotable to me that I literally still quote it to this day. And it was Olivia and Jacob had gotten into an argument, and I think that it was that Olivia ended up being wrong in the argument, and then Jacob felt really...
Doesn't sound right.
It doesn't. But
the facts are all wrong, obviously, right, Olivia?
Immediately, no.
Yeah, there's no way that could have been the case.
You know what's more likely? Actually, Jacob was blackmailing Olivia. I
Jacob
think is what it
was.
was.
Just to be clear, Jacob is also brilliant, so either one of you guys could have been right on that for sure.
But so I mean, I wasn't there for the argument, but Jacob felt like he was invincible, and he was like, I could do anything now to you and you can't do anything about it. I could poop in your mouth and you can't do anything about it at all.
Wow.
And to this day, every single time I'm like having a conversation with someone and I am right about it, I'll be like, I could poop in your mouth and there's nothing you could do about it.
That's amazing.
Liv, do you remember that?
I mean,
I don't remember.
Everyone's wondering, did that happen?
No. Sound off in the comments.
I don't remember.
Sound off in the comments. Would you poop in a mouth?
Hi, Boogie.
Here's Boogie, by the way.
Hey, Boogie.
This is
Yeah, it's
my
a great name.
son.
How did Boogie get its name? Is it because he dances a lot, or is it because there's a mucus problem?
He when yeah,
This
he
is
had a
good
little
content.
he had a little sinus issue
Oh, that's
when
funny.
I got him, and so now he's the little boogie man.
Hi,
But he does
Boogie. This is
dance.
content.
Doot, 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 doot,
Everyone loves cats, and that cat is
It's true.
adorable. Boogie's adorable.
Oh, Boogie's the best cat ever. He's like a dog too.
Thank you.
That's my kind of cat.
Jacob calls him Puppy Cat.
Puppy
That's
cat.
Yeah,
Puppy cat.
yeah. I like puppy cats for sure. All right, hold on now. So wait, let's not leave it. I have two things that have been left on the table so far. Let's do this one first, the second one first, and that is how there was a taping.
Oh.
Tell me about the
would you
taping, the taping incident.
Okay.
Olivia will share this one
I
because I
will?
was asleep.
If you're okay with a little bit of a rant first, a prelude, if you will.
Yeah, bring it on. Of course.
So when I would sleep over,
When you
or
were
you
what?
guys would come, when I would sleep over your house,
Yeah.
or you guys would come visit and stay at our house, it would be me, Melissa, and Alex sharing a room. And Melissa notoriously, it still boils my blood actually because she
yeah. And this is true.
So to this day, you're still kind of getting a little boiled up about this.
Yeah, it was probably like my first experience of being gaslit in my life. Not only so there's that
I thought it
aspect
was
of
funny.
it, and it also was fucking with my sleep. And so those two things combined, that's
was
pretty much
a
a
misguided
combo to really
Don't mess with
anger
sleep.
me. Yeah. I'm
thought it was
notoriously a
funny.
very angry waker. So the marriage of those two things definitely still boils my blood. And so Melissa would fall asleep and then be flailing around or like knocking her arm on the side of the bed or sleep talking and just keeping Alex and I up, and I would be losing my mind. And I can just picture Melissa just laying there with her eyes closed in an evil smirk, just like ha ha ha. So
I didn't
there was
want the
one
fun
point.
to end.
But she was literally asleep, though.
No, I was awake.
Oh, my apologies.
I was awake.
She was
I
just
got
was
being a
awake.
little
by something.
shit. Yeah, no. She claims
Wow,
that
a
in this
little shit.
instance,
You hear that, Melissa?
No,
Yeah.
I was a little shit, and I thought it was funny at the time. I thought it was funny, and I just
Yeah.
want to put it on the record. I
I could
created
still laugh
memories that
at it.
lasted a lifetime. So
Yeah, that's not always the best.
you're
thing.
welcome.
you're
could-
welcome.
We can look into our history books and see about some of those memories that are known for lifetimes and beyond, and they're not all necessarily good, Melissa.
That's true.
So-
And this one was not good. I've changed. Audience. I'm not a piece
Well,
of
we'll
shit
have to
anymore.
see about that. I'm hoping to get one of your roommates on soon, and maybe we could take a look behind that and see.
That will stay tuned.
Yeah. All right, Olivia, come on, please continue.
So,
Tell us about the abuse.
Rant over. In this instance, Melissa claims that she was actually asleep this time.
I was. This
Oh.
time I was actually asleep.
Anyways,
She's sticking to her guns on the BS there, Olivia.
But why
So
would I admit? Okay.
that's fine. No, it's totally probable that all the other times you were awake and pretending.
I
But
swear.
this time when we went too far, you were actually asleep. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I swear. I swear up and down.
You know what though? That's a problem. See, when you're lying like
I
that,
wouldn't believe
you
me
lose all
either.
trust. I'm sorry, you lose all trust.
but
it
I
doesn't work like
understand
that.
I wouldn't believe me either.
Yeah.
And you have every right to not believe me. I can only share my side of the story.
Good.
Continue.
Yeah. Okay.
don't.
Yeah.
Continue because I
So-
was asleep.
I Olivia.
In this instance, you guys had come down to Florida to visit us. And I think like we would like kind of swap beds because we had like the futon where two of us slept and then my
Right.
twin bed. And so in this time, it was Melissa's turn to sleep on the twin bed. So she was right above us. And we were on the floor. Alex and I were on the floor on the futon. And Melissa just kept throwing her arm. I was closest to the bed. And she kept throwing her arm onto the bed, which would disrupt me in my attempts to go to sleep.
Suspicious.
And I think I suggested,
Probably.
maybe I was joking, maybe I was not, that we tape Melissa to the bed to prevent her from moving. And it's not crazy.
So Olivia, if I can just back up for a second, just pull it. Okay, Scotch tape. All right, so that's
right. It's not like crazy.
Pretty benign.
Yes,
that's pretty benign.
Yeah, we weren't like duct taping. It wasn't like kind of concerning, like that there would be some concern there. But it was literally Scotch tape. And so we did a terrible job. I don't think we taped her actually to the bed. I think there was just like maybe like an arm
get a lot
to
of
the
Scotch tape to
head
take somebody
or
to the
something.
bed.
Like there was just kind of like a whole mess of tape about, and it got in her hair. And then Melissa's like, that's also why I'm like, no shot you were asleep. You would have woken up at any point during any of this. But it proceeds till there's several feet of tape strewn about, and Melissa's waking up and she's like, what is going on?
Oh, wow, the perceptions, right?
And then
why would I just let myself be taped to the bed?
Because you were a weirdo.
Fair.
And
okay, I can't.
Then Alex, at one point, Melissa gets pretty pissed. She wakes up and she's pretty pissed. And then Alex pins it on me, which it was my idea, but Alex kind of tries to evade all responsibility by saying the words, well, you said tape? I thought you said ape.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
wow. Wait a second. So, how old were you? I mean, I was a couple years younger than you, Melissa.
Still in Florida. I mean, I could not have been older than 7.
Yeah, you guys are pretty young. You guys are pretty young. All right. I thought you said ape. Alex, that's a weak one.
Which is classic.
That was classic Alex.
Oh, I didn't know. Tape? Because we're literally using tape.
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
You said ape.
Well, ironically, I mean, Alex is like a master wordsmith, right?
Absolutely.
Really, okay, you wouldn't know by that example, but Alex has certainly grown to a master wordsmith. So that's so fun to hear that particularly lame example from when he was like 5 or 6 or something or whatever it was.
Whoa.
That does also remind me to add a wholesome story, because I feel like I let some rage out during that last story. While I was telling that story, I was reminded of a time. I mean, we must have been real little, like 5, 6, and you guys were visiting, but it was your last night there, and obviously we were upset.
Yeah.
And so we were put to bed, but we had like the nightlight, and 3 of us in my room were quietly trying to play just a little bit more. Like I had a dollhouse or kitchen set, one of those things. And we were trying to play a game quietly, just playing pretend and stuff. And you, Uncle John, had peeked your head through the door, and we kind of were like we've been caught kind of thing, like, oh shoot, like we're gonna have to go to bed now. And you kind of just were like, you guys keep playing. And then you just like,
there was no way I was going to care about that. I was probably loving the fact that you guys were doing that.
It was, I love that memory a lot.
So, all right. So we're going to rewind here a little bit, because apparently the production supervisor, Aunt Steph, there's a story associated with that we left hanging, sitting on the shelf. So let's hear about this.
This is a rough one.
Rough one.
I think.
We were young.
Yeah. So I think this was a script initially, and this is why Aunt Steph could be co-produced. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but Melissa, you and Aunt Steph kind of came up with the idea of making a prescription medication commercial.
Yeah.
Because we all know those are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Melissa brought that idea to us, the cousins, to come up with a commercial for a drug called Pig Bladder.
I don't know how we came up with that name.
I think
It
that
was a
a
urine
you thing.
medication.
It stands out. It's a marketing dream.
Well, the commercial was not.
This commercial had highs and lows. There was a story of a girl coming of age.
Oh yeah. No, it was I was a mother. I was.
I have even more detail. Olivia's collapsing, and none of us have any idea what's going on here.
So I was the main character of the commercial, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I remember. And the humorous part of the commercial, or what was supposed to be the humorous part, was the fact that there were so many side effects to this medication that it was just absurd. I mean, like any medication commercial ever. And I was like a mother, and I could not, for the life of me, get through the list of side effects. And we kept having to cut.
Because part of the fun of those commercials were pharmaceuticals is an extensively long list.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'll never forget. I think it was Jacob who was filming, and we cut, and you guys had it with me. You guys were like, Melissa, this isn't fun anymore.
It was like over the span of several days too. It wasn't just like one session of trying. Wow. It was like several days. She could not keep a straight face.
Production costs were increasing.
It's true.
Absolutely.
It's true. We kept having to go back to our executive producer and staff,
like asking for more money to fund it. Yeah.
But I remember they had it with me. They were done at a certain point, and finally Jacob was like, "Okay, Melissa, I'm going to give you a tactic to keep you from laughing. Anytime you feel like you're about to start laughing, think of puppies dying." Yeah. And I was like, okay, yeah, that'll make me sad. Absolutely. So we start filming, and I'm getting through. I'm actually doing it. And I'm going through the list, and I was like, some side effects may include, dry mouth, constipation, spontaneous combustion, your puppy dying. And I just start cracking up hysterically, and that was it. They were like, all right, this is
no, but that's
stop
awesome.
this now.
No, that's awesome. No, seriously, because that's what those prescriptions are like, right? you hear a list of stuff, it freaks you out.
Yes. I have a story.
You have a story?
I have a story, and Olivia will definitely remember this one. So I thought of it when we were talking about taping me to the bed.
So abuse.
Aping to the bed.
Aping.
Abuse, yes. So
how does one ape another? Did you ever ask Alex that?
That's what I was saying. That wouldn't make any sense. I thought you said ape.
Ape. And I could see him being like, ape. So, okay, I'll frame the story out with, we always hung out in our basement. I mean, we hung out everywhere. Like we were everywhere, but we spent a lot of time in our house, in our basement.
Yeah, that was one of the places for sure.
One of the places, definitely. And I remember it was over the summer, and it was all the cousins. We were all hanging out, and Mom calls us up for some lemonade. So we all like scurry up the stairs, and we're all sitting outside. We're outside now, all of us, the whole house, on the deck, and we're all drinking the lemonade. And Mom goes, "Where's Olivia?" And we were like, "Oh, I think it's that. Do you remember this?"
She does. I can see her face.
And I think it was
immediate eye. I was like, I don't know where this is going, but where's Olivia? Yeah.
I saw that light bulb. I saw that light bulb pop on, Olivia. Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, why don't I remember this? Because I wasn't there. Why wasn't I there, Melissa? Why wasn't I there?
Yeah, so Melissa, could you let us know?
So we were like, oh, she's being punished or something along those lines.
That's a weird way to put it.
I know. And Mom was like, what are you talking about? Like, suddenly getting, like, because knowing what we're capable of.
Yeah, she knew something was awry.
Yeah. And we go, she's being punished. She can't leave the basement. Don't worry, she asked for this. And now...
no, there's no way that your mom would allow that to just lie like that.
She immediately turned around and we were running after her. And Mom opens the door. The light is off in the basement. And she goes, Liv? And you just hear, yeah. And she was like, what are you doing down there? And she was like, oh, I'm tied up. And we go downstairs. Olivia, we hog-tied Olivia to the treadmill in the basement.
Oh, that's
and she's
terrible.
Just hanging there, hog-tied. And we go down, and she goes, hello, as we enter into the basement.
Oh, is that a tampon?
Wow.
Like what? Like, why would it be?
Why?
Like, why would it be?